UPod Street is an official affiliate of Birdland Sports. Visit birdlandsports.com/UPod Street, and 10% of your order will go directly to supporting the pod. Use code UPODSTREET at checkout, and you'll get 10% taken off your order. Now sit back, relax, and keep that beer cold, because it's on to UPod Street. All right, welcome everybody to UPod Street. If you're watching the MLB draft, thank you for taking some time away to watch us. You are about to get a live reaction here because the Orioles are on the clock with their first round draft pick, 17th overall. I'm Jimmy Horn, and joining me as always is the brunette Thor, Jack Bain. Jack, are you excited for this pick that's about to come in?
All I know is that we have a way with timing our last few episodes.
We're on a roll, let me tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, what last one was? We had Westberg's call up, and then we had Kowser, his first game, and his first hit happened right before we came on. Now we have the Orioles drafting as we go live. What did we do, Jack? Did you make a secret call to Mike Elias I don't know about?
I guess
and said like, hey man, I need a favor.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like this is no better time than to talk about the draft, as the Orioles pick is coming in. As most folks know, Paul Skeens and Dylan Cruz went 1-2 to their respective teams. There's a lot of angst right before the draft. There's a lot of draft boards were shifting. People were thinking that Skeens was going to go 1. They thought the Pirates would pick a position player. They were thinking Cruz was going to fall to like 4 or 5. That didn't happen, obviously. But I really like the Paul Skeens pick for the Pirates. I think that fits their timetable really, really well. A lot of these high velocity college arms that have come in from the draft in the last 2 years have made it to the show rather quickly. The most recent one is Ben Joyce on the Angels. I know he's hurt now, but he was pitching for Tennessee the summer before this year, and he was able to make his major league appearance, I think, at the end of May, early June. So good pick by the Pirates. I'm glad they didn't fall to the rumor mills around the Twitter sphere. But according to ESPN, the Orioles pick is in.
All right, I'm still stuck on a commercial.
Yeah, Jeff Passan's talking right now about the past pick, and the Oriole bird front and center on the stage right now with this.
I love that they've been bringing the mascots onto the stage as they do the picks. I think that's fun.
Yeah, so we were talking before that, we talked about what Mike Elias said about how, he's got a much later pick than he's had in his first few years of the Orioles regime. So what did he have to say about that?
Well, he was asked, the Orioles don't have a ton of pitchers in the system right now that they're developing. So they asked, are you going to go for a pitcher this year? And he said, I'm going for the best guy in the draft.
The Orioles have selected Enrique Bradfield.
All right. That means nothing to me.
So he is a speedy, real plus speed guy. Played center field, lockdown center field at Vanderbilt for the last 3 years. Really, really big contact guy, but can also drive the ball out of the ballpark. I mean, he's been a face at Vanderbilt for the last 3 years, like I said. He's won a national championship, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
I am curious about, I know I just said, Mike Elias is going to pick the best guy on the board, right? He's not caring one way or the other about where they play, but I wonder, because, we just saw the graduation, or we're seeing the graduation of the Orioles' best outfield prospect in Colton Kowser. Kjerstad is either going to be out of this organization or he's going to be on the 40 man by the end of the year. After that, I don't know too many outfielders in our organization, Jack. So, I mean, I think that fits a need long term for the Orioles where it's going to be like, hey, you got to be developing outfielders down the road. Whether it was purposeful, hey, I want an outfielder, or whether it was this is the best guy on the draft board and he happens to be outfielder, I think that's a good pick for the Orioles.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Definitely wasn't expecting it to be Bradfield. Don't know why. It just seems like kind of a weird pick for whatever reason. But I just pulled up his stats while you were talking just now, and in his junior year at Vanderbilt, he batted 279 with a 410 OBP, 429 slug. Hit 6 home runs, 34 runs driven in, walked 45 times, only struck out 40 times, and stole 37 bags across 62 games, including playoff games.
I wonder too, because if he's a speedster, right? If he's stealing bases, one thing that we've seen in the Mike Elias Baltimore Orioles that I hadn't seen in the Orioles for a long time of being an Orioles fan was the small ball game, right?
Yeah.
Obviously last year we had the two guys who led the American League in stolen bags with Cedric Mullins and Jorge Mateo. Jorge Mateo could easily be leading the league in stolen bases this year if he could get on base. But Cedric Mullins is a speed threat. Gunnar Henderson has been a speed threat on the bags as well. I wonder with the Orioles having moved back that left field wall, if they're so much more into the small ball game now,
Yeah.
because it used to be. I mean, you remember the 2012 to 2016 Orioles. It was just hit home runs, hit home runs, hit home runs.
Right.
When you were in the most hitter friendly ballpark in the country, that made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now we've moved that wall back. It's less of a hitter friendly ballpark. The Orioles, it feels like in recent years, they've found a lot of success in having the small ball game. It's possible that when they're looking at a player that's going to fit into their system well, is they're looking at, hey, this guy steals a lot of bags, and we think that fits into our system well. I'm just spitballing. Obviously, I'm not in the draft room, but
Yeah.
I think that's something that could fit the Orioles system well long term.
Yeah. So, I mean, you talk about small ball, and he definitely has a lot of potential to be a small ball guy just off stolen bases alone in 21-22. He was 46 for 46 in stolen bases.
Wow.
And then the year before that, he was 47 for 53.
And I mean, like you look at with Ellie De La Cruz yesterday, right? Dude got on to first to drive in a
Oh
tying
my
run,
God. Yeah.
and then he stole second, and then stole third, and then stole home. And there's something to that besides the fact that it's really cool, right? There's something momentum wise that if you have a guy on your team that can do that, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That
And
means every time that guy gets on base, it's gonna disrupt the other team. It's
yeah.
gonna energize your team. I mean, like that's my thing is like the few times that Jorge Mateo does get on base nowadays, when Cedric Mullins gets on base nowadays, I'm sitting there going like, when's he gonna steal? When's he
Right.
gonna steal it? Because you know it's gonna happen. So I think that's a big energy thing. Do you think, Jack? Because you just said this guy's been in the college game for 3 years now.
Yeah.
And we know like college is compared to minor leagues, it's a little different, but how quickly could you see a guy like this coming into the major leagues? Because I think you just talked about like the Pirates could have a Skeen come in next year possibly. Um, Here's a guy not as high picked, has been in college for 3 years. Do we see him start off in the FCL and kind of follow the same path as normal prospects, or do you think for a veteran college player he's going to move through a lot faster?
Yeah, dude. This is kind of a tough one because he did much, much better in his freshman year than he did the following 2 years, so his sophomore and junior year of Indy. I don't know. I think it's going to be weird. I don't think he'll. If he is in rookie ball, it'll be for a very short amount of time. But I think he's going to make all the stops where you could see a guy like Skeens or Cruz go right to single A. Or, I mean, Skeens might even go to double.
Yeah.
That's how good that guy is. Like, he might go right to double. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's something for, like, somebody who's been like researching this guy and like has all the dirt on, Enrique Bradfield Jr., ergo Mike Elias, to decide. Wouldn't be surprised if he started down in Florida. Also wouldn't be surprised if he went right to Delmarva. But yeah.
I think even Adley started in Florida.
Yeah.
I don't think he was there for long. I think he was there for a couple weeks, but my gut feeling is this guy might follow initially the Jackson Holiday path, and we'll talk about that in a little bit because there's obviously news about that today that we have to talk about. But I think by the end of the year he's in Delmarva, and then he kind of quickly moves through single A, and then we'll see what happens as far as double and triple A and what how he develops. So there you go. There's your live reaction, folks, to the Orioles' first draft pick, our first top 5 draft pick in the past 5 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So not as exciting as it normally is, but still exciting nonetheless to see the best farm system in baseball working on continuing to improve itself.
I apologize. He did not win, but he did play in a College World Series.
Okay.
So
thank you for clarifying that, Jack. I would have torn you to pieces afterwards if I had found out you were wrong about that. Jack, do you want to give us some updates from around the league before we dive into everything else?
Yeah, we can do that real quick.
I guess we're in the All-Star break, so we can maybe do some All-Star break standings updates.
Yeah, for sure. So in the AL East, obviously, the Orioles are suddenly creeping up on the Tampa Bay Rays. Rays lost 7 of their last 8, went on a 7-game skid up until today, where they broke out of it with a win against the Rays. But yeah,
the Braves.
The Braves. My apologies. So the Rays and the Orioles, they're in a weird spot because the Rays have played 4 more games than the Orioles. So the Rays are 58-35 and the O's are 54-35. So the losses are the big column. Like, that's what matters a bit more than the wins.
And they're tied.
Yeah, they're tied in losses. The Rays have just played 4 more games. All those Orioles off days, it felt like they had one twice every week. Finally has showed itself. So maybe the Rays will have more off days second half of the season. But yeah, so that's what's going on at the top of the AL East. The Blue Jays, Alek Manoah, in his first start since being optioned all the way down to rookie ball, actually had a really good outing on Friday night.
Who would have thought?
Honestly, who would have thought? Went 6 innings, either gave up 1 run or no runs. But yeah, I mean, it's good for him, man. You never like to see anybody struggle like that.
Get that man some cheeseburgers.
He needs the opposite. But yeah, you never like to see anybody struggle like that, even a rival. Because
the Blue Jays, though, suddenly find themselves ahead of the New York Yankees. How about that?
It's true. The Blue Jays have leapfrogged the Yankees. The Yankees, kind of after the Orioles left town, didn't have a great series. And then Boston's actually playing some good ball, man. Winners of 5 in a row, 8 of their last 10. They're sitting at 48-43. They're 2 games out of a wild card spot right now.
The Yankees also, by the way, today fired their batting coach.
I saw that.
I don't know with them skidding if the batting coach is the problem, but that's their solution right now.
They're just hurt, man. I mean, Judge being out's a huge, huge blow.
Well, I think it goes to show that without Judge, the Yankees aren't that scary, honestly.
I mean, they're still 49-42,
Yeah, but they're not a juggernaut. They're good, Don't
Yeah,
get me
I
wrong, the
mean,
Yankees are good, but without
the
Judge, they're not
Yankees, the Yankees
scary good.
previous years would have put the O's away in the rest of that series.
Oh yeah.
So in the AL Central, I am like just seeing this. This is the first time I really had time to hop on any, like MLB related stuff. But the Cleveland Guardians have jumped the Minnesota Twins in the AL Central.
Thanks in part to your Baltimore Orioles sweeping
This
the
is true.
Twins.
This is true. But yeah, the Guardians at 45 and 45 have now leapfrogged the Minnesota Twins, half a game up on them. Wow. Okay.
How
Wonder
the
if the
mighty have
Guardians will
fallen.
still. Wonder if the Guardians will still move Bieber. We'll see.
We'll see. Here's the thing. I think we've mentioned this before. Here are two teams, the Twins and the Guardians, who, if they want to win their division, uh, they're gonna have to make moves, right, to make sure that they beat out the other.
Yes.
However, do you see the Guardians or the Twins going beyond the wild card round? Because that's what they would be right now. If they win that division, they're going to be the third best division winner, and thus they're going to play in the wild card round. Do you see them going past the wild card round?
I think if the Guardians add a bat, if they add like a plus bat at the deadline, because they can bring up more pitching from the farm. I think if they add a plus bat and then some more reinforcements come up from the farm and they get hot at the right time. I mean, it depends who they're playing.
But like that's the question though, is like, okay, if they're buyers, are they gonna move someone like Shane Bieber?
No, I mean they won't buy. They won't buy. I think if they move Bieber, they will get a major league bat in return.
Okay.
That's where I was going. Because
I don't know though. I mean, what's the balance there though?
I mean, you major league ready bat, 2 top 30 prospects for Bieber, maybe top 15 prospect in the system. I think that's enough to fetch Bieber and throw in prospect from the Guardians.
Because I don't know for the Guardians how much I'm willing to sell / buy.
Well, they need something. They're 45 and 45 at the break.
But so like what I'm saying is like I don't know if whoever wins that division is going to go far in the playoffs. So how much are you willing to give away?
I mean, did you think that the Phillies last year
the division right now?
Did you think that the Phillies last year were going to beat the St. Louis Cardinals coming out of the wild card round?
No, I didn't. That's fair.
Yeah,
anything can happen in October. You're right.
So, I mean, obviously, no, I don't think that one of these teams would beat the 6th seed wild card team, which, as it stands right now, the 6th seed wild card team in the AL is the Toronto Blue Jays.
Okay.
So, who knows?
Who knows?
In the West,
it'll be interesting to see what they do nonetheless.
Yeah. In the West, the Texas Rangers still atop. Not playing great ball.
Got blown out by the Nationals today, right? 7-2?
Something like that. They definitely lost 2 in a row to the Nats, which you never want to do.
No.
But pitching just hasn't been there last week. Kind of let the Astros sneak back in, kind of not. Astros are 2 out. Astros are going to get Jordan back soon, I think. Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of a stalemate there at the top. Mariners are playing better ball. Going to finish above 500 at the break. They're 45 and 44. LA Angels. LA Angels. You got to feel bad for the LA Angels, man.
All right, here's the question, Jack. We are, as it stands right now, a little over, I think, 3 weeks from the trade deadline. The Angels said if they're not in it, they're gonna move Shohei. What is the moment right now? Like, where do you have to go from here before you say Shohei Ohtani is going to be leaving the Angels before the end of the season?
So Mike Trout's out 4 to 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Shohei miraculously fought off a blister and is going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
They have Anthony Rendon just got hurt again.
Yep.
All their big superstars are hurt. They've lost 9 of their last 10, 5 in a row. 5 games out of a wild card, 7 back of the division.
How bad do they have to go in the next week or two, Jack, before you say, yeah, Shohei's going on the board?
I mean, you lose 9 out of 10 again.
So just keep doing what they've been doing.
I think if they go 3, if they win 3 of their next 10, I think that they sell, because that would put them at 48 and 56.
Yeah, that'd be
at
that
tough to
point in
climb
the
out
season.
of.
You've dug yourself a pretty big hole.
That'd be tough to climb out of. So
Especially when you're in a division with the Astros and the Rangers. And right now it seems like the AL East is the division that's going to have multiple teams make the wild card and division and all that stuff. So
I mean, then whoever doesn't win the AL West.
yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be really interesting to see at what point do we see Shohei Ohtani possibly wear another jersey. I don't think he's coming to the Orioles, by the way. I'm not trying to claim that. I'm just saying that I'll be interested when they decide it's time to sell Shohei.
What do you think the A's are going to do at the deadline?
Oh God, do they even have anything?
Think they're gonna buy? I mean, they have some major league talent. I don't know, I guess. Anyways, the Atlanta Braves certified good at baseball. 60 wins at the break. 60 and 29. I don't want to play the Braves right now.
No. In fact, I say let the Braves get hot right now, and then let them cool off come September.
Yeah. Okay. I'm here for it.
Oh, here we go. Here's a comment for you, Jack, before you move on too fast right now. James Krebs, aka Fat O's fan on Twitter, says that he thinks Ohtani's going to go to the Rays because they have the prospects to trade for him.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you, but that would be like the least Rays thing to do, right?
I'm not going to lie. If this happened, I would cry.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
I would cry a lot. It would be entirely the Rays saying we're sick of making World Series and losing.
True.
We're going all in.
I don't disagree. I do think that the Rays could pull that kind of trade off. But that would I mean, I don't know if it would deplete the Rays system, but that would take like a Taj Bradley, what's his name? I'm blanking on those other two, but that would deplete their farm. But yeah,
there we go. That's his reaction to me saying that I would cry. It's because it's a move they
all this to beat the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, right. That's what they need to make sure they stop the Baltimore Orioles from creeping up on them.
The Miami Marlins playing really good baseball. Not really good. They're playing good baseball. They just optioned Yuri Perez back down to the minor leagues. Perez was really, really dominant in his first handful of major league starts, but he is most definitely on an innings limit, and I don't blame the Marlins one bit for sending him back down. We'll see if he comes back up for a playoff push. I would assume he would.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he didn't.
They're sitting in the top wild card spot right now. Yeah, and Sandy pitched better this weekend.
Yeah.
Happy for him. Philadelphia Phillies won 15 straight road games?
Something like that. They swept the Tampa Bay Rays. Thank you, Phillies.
So they have put themselves in a better spot coming into the break, a half a game out of the wild card spot. New York Mets still underwhelming.
Hey, it's the DJ Stewart era for the New York Mets.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. DJ Stewart is on the club.
Look
it up. Look it up. He's there. Buck loves his guys. Buck loves his guys.
That's what this has come to. Did he
Yeah.
play today?
I don't know if he played today, but he definitely played this weekend.
No. That's
Orioles
awesome.
legend DJ Stewart, New
That's
York Met.
awesome. Okay. Well, there you go.
How long before he takes a ball off his face?
Oh, I don't know. We'll see. It's kind of the story of the Mets season.
Yeah.
Nationals still in the cellar. In the NL Central, the Cincinnati Reds now 9 games over 500, sitting in first place. Ellie De La Cruz, an absolute freak, stole every single base. Nutty.
It's just absurd.
He's so good. I love the Reds, man.
I
Milwaukee.
I'm both excited for baseball, but also terrified of Ellie De La Cruz just in
It's
general.
true. It's
Someone
true.
needs the Orioles brought him down to earth a little bit. He didn't do well in that Orioles series.
It's true.
But I need him to be brought down to earth a little bit because I'm just like, this is terrifying.
Milwaukee still keeping pace with them, however, just a game back of the division lead and a half game out of the wild card. The Cubs, who just drafted a University of Maryland alum, 42 and 47, 7 games out of first, 6.5 of the wild card. Only team in the Central with a plus run differential. I know we bring that up kind of frequently here, but I just think that's crazy.
It's weird. It's definitely weird. Baseball's weird.
Pittsburgh has fallen all the way to 4th place. Real tough couple of weeks for them.
Yeah, I don't know if the number 1 draft pick is gonna turn them around just yet.
But this wasn't their year. This wasn't like the
it
window's
looked like
not
in the
supposed to be.
beginning. Looked
Window
like in the
wasn't supposed to
beginning.
be open. Yeah, it's true. St. Louis Cardinals. Good God, do something. It's like that picture. It's like a still stick.
Yeah, the guy poking a stick.
Come on,
do something.
The Dodgers and the D-backs now tied at the top of the NL West. However, the Dodgers do hold a tiebreaker, and they have first place right now.
That is a fun battle to watch.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And then you have player 3 in San Francisco, who's 49 and 41, 2.5 games out of first. We'll see how that goes. See how the NL West goes. San Diego, Blake Snell's been pitching his butt off, but the Padres are still 4 games under going into break, 8.5 out of first place, 6 out of a wild card. Colorado, last, really bad.
Yeah, there's not much else to say there.
That's what's going on around the league. Let's get into the birds, huh?
Yeah, let's get into those Baltimore Orioles. I was worried, Jack, when we streamed Wednesday. I was like, I don't know if we're going to have a whole lot to talk about if we stream again on Sunday, just a few days later. Turns out we have a ton to talk about. So first of all, that game, if you watched the show last week as we were live streaming during the game, that was Colton Cowser's debut into the bigs. You heard our reactions, especially when Ryan O'Hearn hit a home run to get the Orioles up 6-3. They would go on to win that game. It was definitely a momentum changer for the Orioles, who had been skidding up to that point. You just kind of felt like the vibes were pretty high after that win. And lo and behold, Jack, who would have guessed that the vibes would have been so high that the next day the Boo Birds would be out in force in New York as the Orioles would end up winning 14-1.
For good reason. And, we could talk about Gunnar Henderson hitting 2 home runs, being 4 for 4 in his first 4 at-bats. And we could talk about, the rest of the offense going off, Ryan O'Hearn hitting a home run. But Kyle Bradish really shut down a Yankees lineup for 6 innings, striking out 5, scattering 3 hits. Just looked pretty sharp overall. And then, low stress situation for the bullpen. Nick Vespi came in for 2 clean innings, and then Bizzardo came in for 1. Did let up a run, and on the massive broadcast, they were saying how Jim Palmer's record for largest win against the Yankees was safe after that one run came across.
Well, thank goodness for that, right? Got to keep that going. I tell you what, Jack, I didn't watch this live.
I did.
I was out doing stuff, but I kept getting the notifications. I was like, good
Yeah.
God. I love the video of the montage, like when the Yankees committed an error or something, and the Boo Birds came out, and it was just showing all these different Yankee fans. I mean, one was like this, going, huh, and
Yeah.
then it showed like the woman going,
Yeah. There was a lot
crying,
of
like, oh, I love to see Yankee fans in misery.
yeah,
Let me tell
definitely
you,
definitely a lot of good things came out of that game. Luis Severino looked really, really bad.
yeah,
7 earned over 2 2/3. Some of those runs were inherited, but like until the Yankees got past him and Breu, like those two guys, except for one run, accounted for all the runs they let up.
yeah. What did you think about the moment where Kowser got plunked, and then Hyde went out after both benches got warned, and as
Oh my
soon as Hyde
god.
went out, he got thrown out of the game.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. I mean that umpire is notoriously bad. Jim
Yeah,
Iasonia is notoriously bad. Um, didn't even give Hyde a chance to really argue. Like, I mean, he probably said
and
what, like
and all he was
six,
gonna
seven
say
words.
too, all Hyde was gonna say is, "My guys just got plunked twice. You warned both of us. Why are you warning us? Like we haven't
Yeah,
done anything."
yeah,
That's
I
all
know.
he was saying, and then
Yeah,
he immediately got ejected. I did like his post game comments where he was like, "Well, it's my first time being ejected up 2 touchdowns."
yeah. It was definitely not the spot that he needed to be ejected in, but nonetheless, it was at the end of the game, and again, we were up 2 touchdowns at the time, so move on. I'm glad he handled it pretty professionally. He could have like reamed out Iasonia for it, but he didn't. Um, and then we moved on
Moved
to
on to Minnesota. The
Minnesota.
Apple TV game. Jack, I'm not gonna lie. I am ashamed to say that I shelled out the $7 for a monthly subscription to Apple TV just so I could watch this game.
No, don't be ashamed. I was definitely thinking about it. But I was at slow pitch softball, got home a little bit later. I didn't think that buying Apple TV was quite worth it for like 4 innings. So I watched it on the 3D on the
Okay, yeah, the one looks like
MLB
a
app.
video game.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good pitcher's duel throughout. Uh, 1-1 tie game in the ninth inning goes into extras, and wouldn't you know it, uh, Ramon Arias hits a double that scores the ghost runner, and then Ramon Arias gets brought in by, I believe it was Aaron Hicks. Orioles win a tight game, a good opening game to win going into Minnesota, a team that really kind of handed it to them the week before. Um, Huge moment to win that opening game, but also I believe it was Dean Kremer on the mound.
Cole Irvin.
Cole Irvin, you're right. Cole Irvin, who has come back from the minor leagues, kind of been up and down, but he shoved in this game. This was the
I
Cole
would,
Irvin we were hoping for when we traded for him.
yeah, 6 1/3, 1 earned. Nobody walked. 4 Ks. Strikeouts aren't high. That's fine as long as you don't walk anybody.
He's
Big
always
bat
been
to
a
ball.
contact pitcher.
Yeah, big bat to ball game. Mike Bauman actually got a blown save in this game.
Oh, yeah,
I
that's right. He
guess.
did come in the, what was it, the late eighth inning or whatever.
He actually came in the seventh.
Interesting.
But so he would have gotten a hold, but because he blew the hold, he got a blown save for it. He let that one inherited runner come across from Irvin.
Even bigger than that, though, like it's an interesting game, but even bigger than that is on the national stage. How about Cedric Mullins
Oh my god, the catch, dude!
robbing a home run
Yeah,
that saved the game? It ended up being what saved the game because
pretty
that would have
much.
been a 3-run home run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know about you, but like I was pretty worried coming into this series just after what the Twins did to us at home. But this was like this was a baseball game that you had to be ready to come and play on all cylinders. Bailey Ober for the Twins looks really good. He's having a great year. He only let up 1 earned over 6. And the Orioles fought off a really, really good reliever in Johan Duran, and pushed a go ahead run across.
Yeah, it was a good game to win. You kind of walked away from that feeling pretty confident. I mean, 3 wins in a row at that point. Wasn't as relaxing as a 14-1 win, right? But
No.
you can win a 3-1 game in 10 innings. You start to feel pretty confident about your team.
Yeah, no doubt. Felix Bautista with a killer 2 innings.
He just is untouchable.
Yeah,
He's so good. He's so good.
Struck out 3 over 2 innings, lowered the ERA to 107.
And the fact that you can watch your closer go 2 innings and feel pretty confident that he's going to be good.
Yeah,
Because you normally don't see Bautista for more than 3 innings, or 3 outs, and if you do, it's a 4-out save.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing him go 2 full innings and do just great, love it.
Absolutely love it. Then on Saturday, I looked at the pregame for this. Saw Sonny Gray was pitching. Damn, good thing we won the first one. Like, this one's probably a wash. And then we'll get the rubber match on Sunday. But let me tell you, a 6 spot in the second inning against Sonny Gray is not what I was expecting in the game, but I'm absolutely here for it.
Here's what's wild. The Orioles basically get no hit in this game in every single inning, except for the second inning.
Yeah, and I mean, you kind of look at like what was going on in that inning. It wasn't like crazy extra base hits. It wasn't like home runs, right?
It was a bunch of singles. It was
bunch
small
of singles and a bunch of walks.
And that's huge. That's what this Oriole team hadn't been doing the week prior. When it got runners in scoring position, they weren't doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, when you have runners in scoring position, especially a team that has a lot of speed on it, you just need a base hit.
Yeah.
They didn't do that the past week, and now suddenly they're doing it.
Yeah. And Tyler Wells looked good again. It's kind of been his thing this season. He's been good. ERA is now down to 3.18 after 6 innings of 2 earned run ball. Strikeouts were low in this one. Four Ks over those 6. Only walked 2 guys. And gave way to the bullpen. Look sharp. Great game. Great team win.
Great game. Great win. You take the series. Then you come into Sunday and you think they can't sweep a team before the All-Star break, can they? They can't win 5 in a row going into the All-Star break, can they?
Against
Jack, little did
All-Star
we know
Joe Ryan, no less.
They can.
Yeah, man. 6 home runs in one game. I think that's good. Is that good?
I've heard a rumor that 6 home runs in one game is in fact good.
And is striking out 11 guys over 7 innings after you've been struggling through the whole month of June and July, is that good?
I believe that experts would call that good. Yes.
I mean, what a good win, man. I mean,
how often do you get 2 games in a week where your team scores 14 runs or more?
Dude, not often. 17 hits in this one. Not as good as 20 hits against the Yankees. But who cares? Hit a lot more home runs here. Adley Rutschman was showing off the home run derby power. 108.5. 108.5 off the bat. 461. Hit it way up there. Anthony Santon dare with 2 dongs today.
The Aaron Hicks revenge tour showed itself today.
Hit the sticks. Thank you, Nick. But Kyle Gibson, I think, is the big story here.
It could be easy because when you put up, I always get nervous when a team puts a big number in one inning, right? Because your pitcher is sitting there for a long time. Arm could be getting a little cold, could be getting a little stiff right after you've gotten it all nice and loose. and they could go out there and they could do the same exact thing. I always get nervous about that. But credit to Kyle Gibson of just sticking to it, being a guy who probably felt like, all right, I don't have any pressure on me right now, and went out and continued to shove. And great outing for him, great bounce back outing for him, I think. And hopefully we see this more from him going forward
Tied
because
his
he's going
career
to
high
need
in
to eat a lot of innings
strikeouts.
going forward. What was it?
Tied his career high in strikeouts with 11.
Nice.
And the thing was about this start is that in his first or his most recent couple starts, his pitch count got up really, really high in the first couple innings, excuse me. But through 7, he only threw 94 pitches, 64 strikes. Only walked
Love
one
it.
guy. I mean, this is the Kyle Gibson that, like prime Kyle Gibson, not year 11 Kyle Gibson that we saw.
And he's going to need to do that more because going forward, one of the struggles for the Orioles is going to be that a lot of their pitchers are starting to hit their innings limits, right? They've said that Tyler Wells has already passed what he pitched last year, and he's probably approaching an innings limit soon. Dean Kremer has already pitched more innings, I think, than he did last year. He's going to hit an innings limit going forward at some point. If Grayrod comes back up, he's going to hit an innings limit at some point. You need these guys come October, so you're going to need Gibson to keep saving the bullpen, keep eating innings, and keep being a solid guy that you can count on every 5th game to come out there and give you a chance to win. So
Yeah,
this is the Kyle Gibson that they need moving forward.
For sure. So I mean, Orioles were kind of on a skid up until that Yankees game that we first alluded to. What do you feel like has been different in this 5-game winning streak than what it was before?
Besides Colton Cowser?
I mean, Colton Cowser can be a part of it. Like that could
I
be the
think it's
thing.
a huge thing. Well,
Yeah.
here's my thing is this lineup where it sits now that in the past 2 weeks we brought up Westberg, we brought up Cowser. We always talked about, the Sunday punt lineups for the Orioles, right? We always talk about, oh man, here comes a good old fashioned Hyde punt lineup. It's really hard now to put forth a punt lineup with this team.
Yeah,
I look at the batters on this team right now and I go, oh, besides like Jorge Mateo.
And that's one of the things is that because Westberg's up and now Cowser's up, maybe not Cowser as much as Westberg, but Mateo's at bats have decreased significantly.
I think he only started one of these games, these past 5 games. I think he only started one. And what do you know? The Orioles started scoring runs because they don't have a hole in their lineup.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it for sure.
I'm curious, Jack, because Ryan Mountcastle rejoined the team today. In order to make room for him, they moved Bruce Zimmerman down. After the All-Star break, they are going to have to move someone back up to have 13 pitchers again. Are you DFAing Mateo? Okay, I mean, here's a better question, because I know you and I would say yes, you're DFAing Mateo, right?
Right.
Probably every Orioles fan out there will say yes, you're DFAing Mateo, right?
Not everyone.
Okay, not everyone. A lot of people would. A lot of sensible people would say
sensible. I don't know. There's definitely a lot of different ways to look at it, but yes, I do think that Mateo should be the next one up on the chopping block.
Who do you think Mike Elias is going to move though? Because Mateo's out of options. It's not like you retain him in AAA if he goes down, if you get rid of him, right? He's gone.
And I mean, yeah, and somebody would definitely pick him up. And yeah, I mean, we're short pitchers, so you need another pitcher. Frazier's kind of attached because we're paying him so much. So yeah, I mean, who else other than Mateo?
Yeah, because you're not going to get rid of Urias, or he's been pretty solid.
Yeah, no, you can't get rid of Urias.
You're only getting rid of Urias if he's part of a trade package.
Yeah, or trade him.
Or trade him.
I'm fine with trading Urias.
But no, I think that's what it comes down to. I think that's the difference for me is when I look at the lineup card. I'm not sitting there looking at them anymore, going like, great.
Yeah.
I'm really looking at it every day, going, wow, this is a
Yeah.
good lineup. We have a lot of depth on this team right now,
Mm-hmm.
and it gets me excited now. And it's amazing to me, Jack, that it took two guys. And now we're saying like, wow, a Hyde punt lineup is, oh, you're starting Hicks over Cowser or something like that. Like,
Hey,
that's not even that bad.
think about it, like Hicks has been great, but think about if you swap Kerstad for Hicks, and that kind of like goes back to the question that Brady alluded to a little bit earlier. If Kerstad's now an untouchable prospect, or is he still a top trade candidate?
It's tough for me, right? These are the tough decisions that are going to have to be made. This is something that we've talked about all year long, Jack, that
Mm-hmm.
these prospects who we have been watching come up since they've been drafted. I mean, we're here on draft day. And a lot of us remember these guys being drafted.
Right.
Heston Kjerstad was what, number 2 overall when the Orioles drafted him? Something
Yeah,
like that.
definitely top five. I can't remember what exactly, but definitely top five.
And he has a great story with him, where he was out of baseball for basically 2 years because of health reasons, came back, didn't lose a step, has been phenomenal. And I think his prospect ranking is just going to keep going up. I
Yep, no
mean,
doubt.
he's a good player, and I think the question that it has to come down to is to make room for him. How high do you think his ceiling is? And do you think he can reach it on this team? I personally think he can. Do I think that ceiling is higher than Anthony Santander? Yes. After Santander's performance, am I ready to give up on Anthony Santander? I don't know. I know I advocated for the past like week or two. I was like, oh, this could be a guy that we trade is Anthony Santander. I don't know if I want this team to win this year, am I prepared to give up Santander? If I want this team to win this year, am I prepared to give up Austin Hayes? I don't know.
I don't think they'll give up Hayes.
I don't think they will either, but
I think Santander goes before Hayes because Hayes just offers you, more defensive ability and also just more consistent offensive ability.
I think honestly, the guy who you could trade right now is Aaron Hicks, because he came here to fill a gap, right? You got him for nothing. The Yankees are still paying the majority of his contract. So if you get him for nothing and you trade him for something, that could be huge, and then you make room for Heston Kjerstad. Is Heston Kjerstad untouchable for me? My heart says yes, my mind says no. I don't know. He's so
The
good.
O- the O's fan in you says no, but
Yeah.
the baseball mind in you says yes because the return on him would be nuts right now.
Yeah. I mean, so I guess the simple answer is he's not untouchable to me, but we better get a damn good return for him if we're going to trade him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still think that the top guy in our organization right now to get traded is Ortiz.
Yeah, Ortiz is the obvious one to get traded, I think.
Yeah,
Someone in that
that
middle
one.
infield has to go. I mean, it's
I
just
love
plain and simple.
Ortiz. I love Ortiz, but I think that I want him to get a shot to play somewhere.
And he's not going to get that on this team. There's too many guys on that team that are just as good,
Yeah.
if not better than he is. It's
Yeah.
too crowded for him.
Unless, Urias gets moved. And then, hey,
Then all
Joey.
bets are off.
Hey, Joey, welcome to shortstop.
But I'll tell you what, I love right now, when we're talking about good lineups going out there right now, I love Gunnar at second. Gunnar he is putting on a show at second.
Okay.
I like Urias at third. I mean, he won a Gold Glove at third last year, so of course I like Urias at third. Now that Mountcastle's back, we can stop with the dumb crap of putting Urias at first and experimenting with Santander at first.
Dumb. It was fine.
It was dumb. It was dumb.
It was fine.
Come on. He committed an error on Friday at first. He made up for it by getting the winning run in, but he committed an error at first because he's out of position.
Let's
That's
talk
not
about the
against
home run
him.
derby.
That's on the team for saying, "Hey, go play this position you've never played in your life." First time he played it this year, he had to borrow Ryan Mountcastle's glove because he didn't have a first baseman's glove. It was dumb to put him at first base. What are we doing here?
Oh well.
But guess what? You don't have to do it anymore because Ryan Mountcastle's back. You platoon him and O'Hearn. Stop doing dumb stuff. It's like I said, stop putting Frazier out in the outfield. You don't need to do that anymore. You got a great outfield now.
Yeah. You get it all out. Get out of your system.
Yeah, you triggered me. I'm just
Home
saying,
run derby.
like now the
Damn.
lineup is in a place where we can stop doing experimental crap and we can just put forth a really good baseball team.
Yeah. So the home run derby's tomorrow.
Home run derby is tomorrow, and our very own Adley Rutschman is the 8th seed. The home run derby operators, ye of little faith in Adley Rutschman, returning to his homeland in Seattle, the closest ballpark to where he grew up. His dad pitching to him in the home run derby. Jack, how you feeling about Adley Rutschman?
So I've seen Adley take PP, just videos. I haven't seen him in person, but just a lot of different Instagram, Twitter videos. Dude hits bombs in BP. He's a BP god. Do I think that he has enough to beat the field? I give him a better shot than the rest of the internet does, for sure. It'll be tough for him to beat Luis Robert. But granted, he doesn't have to face Pete Alonso or reigning home run derby champ Julio Rodriguez. Am I confident that he's going to make it out of the first round? No. Do I think he has a shot? Yeah, sure. Is he going to win it?
He has a shot if he does what he did today and hit some 460-foot bombs to get some of that extra bonus time.
Yeah, I think that he could shock the world for sure. I would. Yeah, I checked on FanDuel today. He's plus 2,000 to win the whole thing. And I think realistically, we could be looking at a Shaquille O'Neal quote being inserted next week. I'm sorry, but I was
wasn't
not familiar
with your game.
Wasn't familiar with your game. So I like it. I might sprinkle a little bit on that plus 2,000. To be honest, the more I'm thinking about it.
Well, like a little $2 bet, little $5
bet. We'll see. But yeah. So for those who don't know the rest of the field, it'll be Luis Robert Jr. versus Adley Rutschman. Pete Alonso versus Julio Rodriguez, Mookie Betts versus Vladdy Jr., and Adolis Garcia versus Randy Arozarena. It's a pretty stacked derby this year.
Randy's going to put on a show, I have a feeling.
Yeah. Big competition, Randy. I was kind of worried at first, like when Julio was the first one, obviously, hometown. But like it didn't seem like there was a lot of people like itching to do it, and then I think Adley followed, Pete Alonso came, and then people started like, oh yeah, let's do it.
Here's a real question for you, Jack. Do you think that the rest of the Orioles All-Stars bring the dong bong with them? And do you think they feed Adley water through it during his timeout?
Can you imagine how electric that would be?
Oh my God. I would cry if that happened.
That would be
with joy.
That would be awesome. I'm here for it.
I would love that. I hope they do that. I hope they do that.
Tomorrow, 8:00. Be there. Be square.
The day after the Derby, of course, is the All-Star game. The Orioles have 4 All-Stars. Adley is one of them. We also have Felix Bautista. That was a pretty obvious choice. We all knew he was probably going to get selected. Yanir Cano wasn't as obvious as Felix, but he was a pretty obvious choice to go as well. And then, wouldn't you know it, our MVO for the first half, Jack, Austin Hayes, not only gets the All-Star nod, but because of injuries to Mike Trout and Aaron Judge, Austin Hayes lands himself as a starter in the
And
All-Star game.
to think we were worried about him being an all-star at all.
Yeah, absolutely
Um,
wild. Jack, I feel like I have to apologize to Austin Hayes because in one of our first episodes this season, we talked about projections for the season and stuff like that. I asked you if you thought that Austin Hayes might be a trade candidate because he's always hurt and he has glimpses of greatness and things like that, and we kind of agreed um he could be a trade candidate, although I believe your quote was, who would want him? Uh Here he is. He's going to start the All-Star game.
I'm
I think
sorry,
that's
I was
pretty
not
special for
familiar with
him.
your game.
Yeah, you self-use that quote.
Sorry,
Um,
Austin Hayes.
but I love the start to his season. My biggest hope right now is that he doesn't get injured and he continues this for a full season. If we can get a full season out of Austin Hayes instead of a half season out of Austin Hayes, I think I'll be really excited both for him and the Orioles, obviously.
No doubt. I mean, again, like we said this last week, he's been doing it really, really quietly.
Hmm.
I mean, I feel like even until he's now a starter in the All Star game, a lot of people were unfamiliar with Austin Hayes' game.
Had
This
a home
year,
run
he's
today, by the way.
yeah, man, it was a tank too. But on the year, he's batting 314, 355 OBP, um, just over 400 in the slugging department. 9 homers, 36 driven in.
Great
He's
fielder
just,
too.
yeah, a very, very much plus fielder. He's just, I mean, he's consistent, man. He's
Hmm.
consistent for the first half of the year, for the last 2 years in a row. I just really hope that he can keep it going. Last year, we know he got hurt second half of the year. Ended up finishing with an OPS just under 720. Um, right now, he's at 853. It would take some real regression to get back down to 719 by the end of the year, especially now that we're at the break already. So, you know, hopefully we don't see that injury again. Hopefully, the trainers are really taking care of him at this point in the season. Maybe the All-Star game's a big confidence booster. Who knows? Just really happy for him that he's actually getting some of the recognition that us Orioles fans feels that he deserves.
I was really worried, Jack, that the Orioles were gonna get super snubbed in the All-Star game. I was like, oh man, am I even gonna want to watch the All-Star game this year? And I'm excited to watch it now. I'm excited that right at the start of the game we're gonna have an Oriole out there representing us
Mm-hmm.
to cheer for. I'm hopeful that Adley comes in late in the game because I would love to see an Adley Cano and Adley Felix ending to the game
Yeah.
with a Felix Adley hug
Oh
to
yeah,
end the game.
that'd be awesome.
Um, it makes me really excited to watch the All-Star game now. Even more so, I think the last time I was this excited to watch the All-Star game was when Cedric Mullins was a starter. And even
Mm-hmm.
that, like I watched him start, and as soon as he was pulled, I stopped watching it.
Oh,
Um,
do you not know ball, Jimmy?
I'm biased. It's
Mm.
different. I know ball, but I'm biased.
Mm.
At least I like to think I know ball. Um, but I'm really excited to watch this, and I'll probably end up watching it all the way through.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure. Petition for the players to go back and wear their own uniforms.
you don't like the Mariner colored uniforms?
No,
No, they're pretty
it was
ugly.
it was cool when they all wore their own stuff, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean the All-Star game jerseys are sometimes they're designy and cool looking, but yeah, I still there's something about them wearing their own jerseys. I do have a Jorge Lopez All-Star jersey that I got out of a mystery box last year. Because of course the Orioles traded him like right after the All-Star game.
Yeah.
So they were just giving those things away. So
Mm-hmm.
I have one of those. It looks cool, but am I itching for an all-star jersey? Absolutely not. Um, so yeah, I think that's kind of the consensus is most people feel like, yeah, go back to wearing your own jersey.
And just like one last quick thing. Lot of people, man, backing out of the All-Star game for reasons other than injury. Come on.
Really? I haven't
Yeah,
seen
a
that.
lot of guys backing out for like personal reasons. Like Spencer Strider started a game yesterday and like struck out 11 and then was like, "No, I'm not going to be in the All-Star game."
Wow.
It's like, "Okay."
Did
Thanks.
did you see, this is the last thing I'm going to say about the All-Star game. Did you see Tyler Wells's quote about being snubbed from the All-Star game?
Nah, I didn't.
He said something along the lines of, I was once told that to be an All-Star, you have to play well for half the year. And to be a champion, you have to play well for the entire year.
It's true.
I'd rather be a champion.
There you go. That's a good quote, man. It's really, yeah,
I loved it. I loved it.
it's a good quote.
I was
like
sitting there
it.
pounding my chest looking at it. I was like, yeah, Tyler Wells. That's right.
Yeah. All right.
We got some big news to go over today, Jack, with the little bit of time that we have left. Minor league news. We got some people, some promotions today.
Yeah, we did.
Kobe Mayo, the Orioles' number 7 prospect, MLB Pipeline's number 76 prospect, is going from AA Bowie to AAA Norfolk. Chase McDermott, who is the Orioles' number 17 prospect, he is going to AAA Norfolk from Bowie. And then, wouldn't you know it, Jackson Holliday, the number 1 prospect in baseball, 1 year after being drafted number 1 overall, is going up to AA Bowie. How you feeling, Jack?
Kobe Mayo, first off, this
stud.
This should have happened. This should have happened last week, 2 weeks ago.
He's a stud.
Kid's an absolute stud. 21 years old. Absolutely tore it up in double this year. 310, batted 310, OBP of 427, slugged 609 in AA Bowie this year. That's a 1036 OPS. And as of late, had an insane end of June, insane start to July. Just over the course of his last few games, I mean, it's been nuts, dude. It's been absolutely crazy. Hitting tanks.
He's had insane numbers all year. I'm excited for him to get up to AAA. I know some people are already calling their shot saying, oh, he'll be a September call-up. I don't know about that.
Maybe. I wouldn't count it out. I wouldn't count it out at all.
But he's playing well. I hope he continues to play well. I'll be interested. Him and every other prospect in the Orioles organization kind of has this question mark over their head of like, are they going to be a trade asset? I will be curious what happens with him if he is on this organization come year's end. I really like Ramon Urias, but is there a better option to bring up another infielder? Adam Frazier's on a 1-year deal. If there's another option for a better infielder. This is the nice thing about having the number 1 farm system in all of baseball, Jack, is we can start to ask these questions of like, well, do we use this guy to trade for something else, or do we bring this guy up in a year or so? What amazes me, Jack, is how Mike Elias continues to do it. Because the lazy answer for how the Orioles have gotten so good is, well, of course they got good. They tanked for so long to get number 1 draft picks, and now they're really good. That's the lazy answer, because Mayo was not a first-round draft pick. Gunnar Henderson wasn't a first-round draft pick. Jordan Westberg wasn't a number 1 draft pick. There's a lot of guys. I mean, to have the number 1 farm system, you're drafting well all up and down the board. You're not just drafting well in the first round. And how they continue to develop these guys, whatever they're looking for in analytics to pick these guys out. I mean, I have full faith in Mike Elias this draft to pick the guys that he thinks are going to be great in this organization. I'm not a draft guy in the first place. I don't do my research on guys that could be drafted. But I feel like I don't have to because I'm like, whoever Michael Elias picks is going to be in the top 100
Mm-hmm.
either next year or the year after. He continues to hit. This organization is set up to be a juggernaut for the next 10 years. And to see these guys that we keep seeing their names, they keep doing well and they keep moving up the prospect rankings. It's exciting. It's an exciting time to be an Orioles fan.
No doubt.
Um, the fact that Jackson Holiday is going up to Double A, he's 19 years old, Jack. He's 19 years old.
This is the test, man. This is the test. This is, like I said before, this is the biggest jump in competition. This is when the pitches start getting more sharp. This is when the umpire strike zones start tightening up. So I'm excited. I'm really happy for him that he's getting called up, and rightfully deserving so across both levels that he's been at this year. 331, 466, 523 for an OPS of 989. 7 home runs, 7 home runs, 17 doubles, 6 triples, 20 bags. K rate's a little high right now, but he's also walking into cancel out. I know we've talked about that previously, but that's still the trend that is going on.
Yeah, it's it makes me question because remember a few weeks ago we got that question of do we see Jackson Holiday in Baltimore come next year? And we both kind of agreed probably not. We might see him at Bowie at the end of the year, and then next year Bowie for a little bit, and then AAA to end out the year, and then maybe the year after that we see him in Baltimore. Now, I mean, you're halfway in the season, and you're bringing it up to Bowie. Could we see him in AAA come the very end of the year? I mean, if he does well enough, it's possible.
Yeah.
I'd say it's even more likely that he starts out next year at AAA. I mean, he'd be 20 years old next year. It's not like we haven't seen a 20-year-old guy start for the Orioles before, a la, Manny Machado.
Right.
Wasn't Gunnar Henderson 20 years old last year? Or was he 21?
He was 21.
He was 21, so only a year off.
Yeah.
It's not out of the realm of possibility that Jackson Holiday starts in a Baltimore Orioles jersey sometime next year.
Yeah.
And so then you're sitting there going like, okay, well, where do you move Gunner? Where do you move Westberg? It's all good problems to have. And seeing these updates today got me, already I'm excited because the Orioles are on a 5-game win streak. They have the 3rd best record in baseball going into the All-Star break. They're 2 games behind the Rays for the AL East going into the All-Star break. And then you get this major news out of their minor league system where you go, oh yeah, we're not stopping anytime soon, by the way.
Just another notable kind of like on the farm performers. But Cesar Prieto was called up to the Tides on June 20th. And since then, he's been raking across 15 games. He's batting 344 with a 904 OPS. 2 home runs, 21 total hits, 4 walks. He's only struck out 6 times across 61 at-bats. I mean, really good, man. Like
he's adjusting pretty well to AAA, I'd say.
He's performing. Yeah, he torched AA for sure, batted over 360. So, could be a trade piece, in an already crowded – he's a middle infielder. He's a shortstop. So
we have many of those.
Yeah, in a very crowded, middle infield production system in the Orioles. Definitely could be some trade bait. Another performer, Samuel Basallo. I think it's
Samuel Basallo, I think his name is pronounced. I think
Samuel. There's no O on the end of his name. But he's with Delmarva right now, and he's batting just under 300.
He's a guy people are talking about will probably move up to Aberdeen here pretty soon.
Yeah, he's batting 298 with an 869 OPS, striking out.
Also snuck into the top 100 this past week.
He's a catcher, so obviously, we have a bit of a jam at the major league level. Again, this kid's 18 years old, so he's
Could
got a
be
little bit
backing
of
up Adley in like 2 or 3 years. I'm just saying.
yeah, no doubt. I mean, he's got some developing to do. He's got 11 homers, 31 walks to his 59 strikeouts. So power numbers are there for a catcher for sure. 18 years old, man. Crazy.
And already in the top 100.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. But yeah, that's all. That's all I really got for big performers down on the farm right now.
So moving forward, as we start the second half, as we go into the month of July, I know we're already 9 days into the month of July, but rounding out the month of July after the All-Star break, start with a nice little homestand for the Orioles, where they start with 3 games against Miami, followed by 3 games against the Dodgers. Not going to be an easy homestand there by any sense of the imagination. But you hope you get the Dodgers off guard a little bit by them having to travel to the East Coast. Then we go to Tampa Bay for 4 games. That's going to be a massive series, Jack. Absolutely massive series. The Orioles currently are leading that series. I think it's 4-3 or something like that. So, hopefully we can extend our lead in the head-to-head matchup. Then we go to Philadelphia for 3 games. Hopefully Philly has cooled off by that point. And then on July 27th, after that Philly series, Jack, we get our only day off in June besides the All-Star break. So all those days off that we had in June get made up for in July because we have a lot of games right in a row.
Yep.
Then we have a home series against the Yankees, and then we are at Toronto for 4 games to go from the end of July into early August. And just a date of note, trade deadline is going to be August 1st.
It's coming up. We're going to see what happens.
So this is a big month for the Orioles, big month to see what we can do against a lot of really good teams, and a big month that will probably be a deciding factor on what the Orioles decide to do at the trade deadline.
For sure.
I've got nothing else on our outline today except for the weekly card winner. Jack, did you have anything you wanted to talk about?
I'm going to Denver this week.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going to see the Rockies play the Yankees on Friday night. It's going to be a good
I'm sure you might be one of the only non-Yankee fans there.
It's possible, man. That game was sold out. When we were looking for tickets, so we'll see what happens. Should be good. It's good time though.
Yeah, enjoy that. That sounds fun.
Thanks, man.
I don't have a name. I forgot to look up the weekly card winner, but I am going to announce it right after the show here. As a reminder to folks that are tuning in that maybe didn't tune in last week or haven't heard. So we've got hundreds of these mini baseball card packs from Topps. And so we're doing a weekly card giveaway. All you have to do is when we tweet out the recording of the episode, you just have to like the tweet and retweet it, and you will win yourself some packs of free baseball cards. You have to be a follower of UPod Street too, by the way. It's an easy way to win baseball cards. What more could you want? It's fun for us to give things away to you guys for free, and we know people love free stuff. Before we go, Jack, we do have a new UPod Street review.
Do we?
We do. I got a DM on Twitter from Sean Ambrose. So shout out Sean. He tweeted me and he asked, do you have a YouTube channel for your podcast, or does it just come up on Twitter? And when do you do it? Because I thoroughly enjoyed watching you the other night.
Nice. Thanks, Sean.
Gave him the YouTube channel, and I said, thank you for listening. And he said, no need. Thank you. I enjoyed the content. And so shout out Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
Reminder to you guys that if you give us a review anywhere where we have a platform, whether it's iTunes or YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. We don't have Instagram actually, but Twitter,
TikTok. You need to post more
TikTok. We got
TikToks,
yeah, I got to make more TikToks, man. If you give us a review, we will read it on the show, good or bad. You can hurt our feelings. That's fine. All right.
Preferably good, though, please. And thank you to James and Brady on the YouTube side of things for commenting, questioning. Appreciate you.
All right. Well, everyone enjoy the All-Star break. Go Adley tomorrow in the Home Run Derby. And we'll see everyone when we start it up again next week.
See you. Thank you, everybody.
You've been listening to UPod Street, an Orioles podcast by fans for fans. UPod Street is an official Birdland Sports affiliate. Directly support the pod by purchasing UPod Street or other Orioles merchandise using the link birdlandsports.com/UPod Street. Get 10% off your order when you use the code UPod Street. Follow us on Twitter @UPod Street and @JackBain20. UPod Street is also on Facebook and YouTube, and you can listen to the show on all major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Spotify. On whatever platform you listen, please subscribe, rate the pod, and leave a review. If you leave a review, we may even read it on the show. We'll see you next week, and of course, let's go O's.